Can I do the next topic? Some people are yet to come. Did I come early? A bit early. Okay. Okay. Meanwhile, you can write down next topic. I hope you left space for that, everyone. Ensure that it is part of your notes. Next, you can write land leasing. Land leasing. Okay. I'll tell you why is this topic of land leasing important. Obviously, one reason being I showed you the PYQ. In one of the previous year mains, there was a question on the contract farming and land leasing directly. Apart from that, another reason why this topic of land leasing was important is from this year's economic survey. As you can see, this year's economic survey has given a thumbs up to the land leasing model from the state of Kerala. So here, under this particular topic of land leasing, we'll understand what do you mean by leasing of agriculture land, what is the present status of land leasing, and all the details. Based upon that, we'll also take up a question for practice. When I was discussing the background of land reforms, I told you that land leasing has been integral part of land reforms. What did we do under land leasing is number one, we started regulating rent, which the tenant farmer should pay to the owner. Second thing is we decided to provide the tenant farmer with a security of tenure. That is for how long the tenant farmer should cultivate the agriculture field. And third, in certain cases, the tenant farmers were also given the right to own the agricultural field. Ownership rights were also given. How it is going to benefit everyone, that is what we are going to cover. So first write the background under this background. Tenancy reforms. Tenancy reforms are an integral part of tenancy reforms are an integral part of land reforms are an integral part of land reforms which focused on regulation of rent which focused on regulation of rent and providing security of tenure. Okay, full stop. Now pay attention, everyone. Let's understand when we say leasing, how it works, how it benefits the different stakeholders. If I ask you in terms of leasing of agriculture land, who are the stakeholders? Stakeholders कौन रहेंगे? If you are leasing out the agriculture land, the owner of the land and the tenant farmer. Apart from these two, anyone else? The agriculture as a whole or the economy as a whole is also stakeholder. So please have a look at this. Let's say there is a farmer. This particular farmer is a small and marginal farmer. We covered what are the problems faced by small and marginal farmer. The small and marginal farmer might now not have access to inputs. Like he does not have modernized land record. Because of that, he cannot take credit. The overall productivity of agriculture land is less. And if he tries to sell the agriculture produce in the market, he is most likely to be exploited by middlemen and the traders. We have also covered that the income of the farmers is too less in India. Are you able to recall how much is the average monthly income of agriculture household? 13,661. It is too less. So let's say this farmer is very frustrated with agriculture. Even though he's putting in a lot of efforts in agriculture, he's not getting enough amount of money. So this farmer wants to live agriculture and probably want to get a job somewhere else, probably in manufacturing sector. He wants to migrate to urban areas. What this farmer can do now, he can lease agricultural land to another farmer. Think of who is that farmer. That farmer could be another smaller marginal farmer, or he could even be a landless farmer who does not own the land. But when this leasing takes place, this leasing is taking place with what? A written contract. Remember, we discussed about tenancy reforms. Tenancy reforms have focused so far on two things. One, about how much rent should be given to the owner, and it will also provide for tenure, security of tenure. It's like saying you rent out a room in old Rajendra Nagar. When you rent out a room, you sign a written contract with the landlord. This written contract would tell how much rent you have to pay to the landlord. And second, the contract is valid for a few years. For you guys, it will be like 11 months. The rental agreement is valid for. It basically means for next 11 months, the landlord cannot forcefully evict you. You have a right to stay in that rented place for next 11 months. It also says how much rent you should pay to the landlord. Suddenly the landlord increases the rent. You have a proof. What is that proof? Written contract which you can go and show it before a court of law. Suddenly the landlord evicts you. You still have a contract in your hand, which means you have more rights now as a tenant. Same way, this tenant farmer has a written contract which says how much rent he should pay and for how long he will cultivate the agricultural field. Hope it is clear to everyone. Now what will happen is, take your time. What do you think is the biggest benefit for this farmer A? सबसे बड़ा benefit क्या है इसके लिए? No, he's leasing out. So for him, what's the benefit? He gets a fixed amount of rent. He gets a fixed amount of rent. Second benefit, I told you what kind of farmer he is. He's already very frustrated with agriculture. He already wants to relocate to urban areas. So what is the benefit for him? He can probably live agriculture, and after living agriculture, he can migrate to the urban area on rent, and he can migrate to urban areas for better employment opportunities. What's the benefit for this tenant farmer? This farmer could be a landless farmer. Can I say through land leasing, this farmer who is a landless farmer at least has land to cultivate, access to land. He is not getting access to land. That access to land is coming up with a written contract. That written contract will provide for regulation of rent as well as security of tenure, which means we can prevent the exploitation of this particular tenant farmer. Third, because the tenant farmer has a written contract, using this written contract, the tenant farmer can go to a bank and say, look, I have the right to cultivate agriculture field for next 5 years. I want credit. Bank will be more confident to give loans to such farmers because the farmer has a written contract. He has access to credit. If he has access to credit, he can make investment in agriculture. His income level will increase. Good thing for him because he has access to land. He has access to agriculture. His income is increasing. Because he's getting regular source of income, he can pay rent to the person, the land owner there. I hope you understood how it benefits the owner and the tenant. Now tell me, which is the biggest structural problem of agriculture which is getting solved by the tenancy? Structural problems, biggest structural problem of agriculture. Fragmented land holding to a certain extent can be addressed through leasing. How so? I'm just telling you an example. Farmer A and farmer B have adjacent land holdings. Farmer B is small and marginal farmer. Farmer A is also small and marginal farmer. Can I say, especially in India, you'll come across large such land holdings where two farmers, their agricultural land lie adjacent to each other and both the farmers are small and marginal. This farmer is now leasing out the agricultural land to B. This was 1 acre and this was 2 acre. Now, if they are leasing out, the entire land will become what? 2 acres. The biggest structural problem of Indian agriculture is fragmented land holding, which can be addressed through leasing. Another biggest problem in Indian agriculture, structural problem, that is related to economies of scale, is related to this only. Disguised unemployment. What is the case of this farmer A? Farmer A is working in agriculture, but this is a case of disguised unemployment. This farmer A can lease out the agricultural land to someone. He is migrating to urban areas. He is getting employment in some other sector. What is happening to the disguised unemployment in agriculture? The number of persons employed in agriculture, that is decreasing. I hope you understood. So as far as the economy is concerned, you can see reduce disguise unemployment in agriculture, reduce the problem of fragmented land holdings, promote occupational mobility. Occupational mobility means people will move from one occupation to another occupation, in this case from agriculture to manufacturing, encourage more investment and boost productivity. Is that clear to everyone? That is why, the land leasing is considered to be win-win-win situation. Win for the owner, win for the tenant, win for the economy as a whole. So far, so clear? Let's see what is the present status of tenancy. इसका present status क्या है देखते हैं. Ideally, what should have happened? Can I say most of the states should have allowed for tenancy. They should have created a framework for tenancy. But the problem is, most of the states, they have adopted restrictive tenancy laws. Just pay attention, it is there in the board, everything. What is the meaning of restrictive tenancy law? Restrictive tenancy law means most of the states have put restrictions as to which type of landowners can lease out the agricultural land. Who can lease out? For example, in most of the states, they say those landowners who are unfit for undertaking cultivation, only they can lease out. Can you tell me an example of landowners who do you think are unfit, are probably not capable to cultivate agricultural land? ऐसे कौन से लोग हो सकते हैं? Huh? Okay, one is people who are of old age. You are more than 60 years old, you own the land, you cannot cultivate it, you can lease out. Apart from old age, can I say people who are specially abled or disabled? or let's say widows, or people who are working in the defense forces, for a simple reason that these people are serving on the border. Because they're serving on the border, they cannot undertake cultivation, so they can lease out. So there's one restriction, that is who can lease out. Not just this restriction, there is a restriction on how long they can lease out. And usually this period is very small. Usually it might be of 3 to 5 years only. समझ में आया everyone? Now you tell me, in India, if something is not allowed, अगर कुछ allow नहीं करते हैं, तो what happens to that? Is it actually not practiced? If something is not allowed, it goes underground. It becomes informal. It means in India, most of the tenancy that you find, most of the tenancy is informal tenancy. Informal tenancy means even now a lot of landowners lease out their agricultural land to the tenant farmers. But when they lease out the agricultural land, the most important aspect, that is written contract, does not exist. It is being said only few states in India. Any idea which states have legalized tenancy completely? One is Andhra Pradesh, Tamil Nadu, West Bengal. These are the three states which are considered to be quite good when it comes to tenancy reforms. You can just see here, everyone. For those of you who have not been able to see, the last line here is only 10% of the land is under formal tenancy, which means most of the land is under informal tenancy. So that's what I said. Most of the states have restrictive tenancy laws where there are restrictions on duration of tenancy. Only certain specified owners such as disabled widows can lease out the land. Only few states like West Bengal, Tamil Nadu, Andhra Pradesh have enabled land leasing. Put your mind to work and tell me, why do you think states have adopted restrictive tenancy laws? Why do you think states have not allowed this kind of formal tenancy? It's actually good, na? It's good for the landowner, it's good for the tenant farmer, good for the economy. Still, why most of the states have this kind of restriction? Take your time. 1 minute. Socho. Take your time, take your time, take your time. Socho pele. You have... No. I hope you got my question. Huh? Okay, one point you can probably say is in most of the states, the land records are not modernized. Because they are not modernized, it's very difficult to enable land leasing. Because to enable land leasing, सबसे important क्या होना चाहिए? Land record should be there. This person should have a record that he owns it so that he can lease out to someone else. That is one point. Like example of that would be? No, bonded liver nahi. Good. Huh? No. He has a good point. He says, okay, just pay attention. Some states have this perception that if they legalize tenancy, they have this perception that if they allow the tenancy without any kind of restriction, it can lead to development of feudalism. What is feudalistic society? A feudalistic society is a society where the people are divided into two classes. One is the land owning class, and the another one is the land less class. In a feudalistic society, these people will own the land. And as far as the landless people are concerned, they don't own the land. What do? They cultivate the land owned by the land owning class. The main source of income for the land owning class is what? Rent. But who is the working class in that society? The working class is the landless. Can I say that some states, I'm not saying anything, but some states have this perception that either legalize tenancy, what will happen is a lot of people in India will simply own the land, will simply purchase agriculture land, not because they want to cultivate agriculture land. They'll simply purchase agriculture land to lease it out to someone and earn rent from it. Don't you think this will encourage more ownership of agriculture land, especially of the people who are nothing to do with agriculture? So they think if you legalize tenancy, it will lead to a development of feudalistic society. Any doubts here? Tell me why it is wrong. I did not say that this is right. I said this is their perception. Why is this wrong? Why do you think it will not lead to development of feudalistic society? But still, as per your logic, it is still leading to concentration of wealth, na, in the hands of only few people. Yes, if you have a tenancy law, then we can prevent exploitation. Their argument is not about exploitation. Their argument is that concentration of land. We already have a law. What is that law? Land Stealing Act. You implement that law efficiently such that a person does not hold land above a particular limit. Anything else? Huh. He has a good point. He says probably the rent, the once you lease in the agriculture land, what you earn could be more than what you pay. Good. Third and very simple. Somehow, I think we have overprotective of farmers. Government thinks if we lease out the agriculture land, it will lead to concentration of ownership in the hands of few people. That is why we will not allow leasing. If that is the case, can I say the same thing can happen even to real estate sector also? Do we put a restriction कि no one can purchase house more than 5 in India? ऐसा कोई restriction है क्या? कोई नहीं है ना? You can purchase as many houses you want to and simply live or lease out those houses for rent. When we don't have restriction on real estate, why have that restriction in the agriculture market? So some states have this flawed notion that this will lead to development of feudalistic society. So they don't have a law to facilitate leasing. And in such states, if there is no law to facilitate leasing, most of the tenancy has become what? Informal. Now what is dangerous? You tell me. Not allowing leasing or leasing taking place without any written contract. Leasing taking place without any written contract because it is very dangerous because it might lead to exploitation of the tenant farmers. That is more dangerous actually. So you can see reasons for restrictive tenancy law. Most of the states believe that liberal tenancy laws would lead to feudalistic society and create divisions between land owning and the landless class. To address this, Niti Aayog has made a very wonderful statement. Look at this statement. I found this statement to be very good. Leasing should not be seen as symbol of feudalism. Rather, it should be seen as what? Economic necessity. can I say, economic necessity demands that we should legalize tenancy. We should not see it as a symbol of feudalism. To facilitate that leasing, what Niti Aayog has done, it has said we must encourage the states to adopt Model Land Leasing Act. Look at the word, क्या लिखा है मैंने? Model. Land is a subject placed under state list. Can the parliament make a law on land leasing? Obviously not. So central government has made a model act. This model act has been circulated among the states so that they can adopt the provisions of this model act. Second, look at this, is a very interesting case. Set up what? Land bank. What is a land bank? You know a normal commercial bank. What does normal commercial bank do? It will accept deposit from one set of people. The same deposit it will give out in the form of loans to another set of people. Extend the same logic to land bank. Let's say there are some people who want to lease out their agriculture land. At the same time, there are some people who want to lease in agriculture land. I am acting like a land bank. People who want to lease out agriculture land, they'll come to me, they'll give their papers to me saying that I want that this agriculture land should be leased out. I, as a land bank, on behalf of the land owner, will lease out the agriculture land to a tenant farmer. Which means land bank is acting like an intermediary between the owner and the tenant farmer. That's it. What's the source of profit for the land bank? Commission. They will charge commission from the owner also, from the tenant farmer also. Whatever I have discussed this as a land bank concept, it has been adopted where? Kerala. Where this land bank in Kerala, you will be surprised to know, it is actually the Gram Panchayat. The Gram Panchayat in Kerala is acting like a land bank. Look at the economic survey. I said it has given a thumbs up to what? This particular Kerala model. So what is happening here in Kerala? You have Gram Panchayat, you have land owners, they submit their papers to the Gram Panchayat, and what Gram Panchayat is doing on behalf of the land owner, they are leasing the agriculture land to women SHGs, self-help group. What is that famous SHG from Kerala? They are leasing agriculture land to the women SHG, that is Kudumshri. Now, when it is taking place through Gram Panchayat, can I say it is a classical case of democratic decentralization? Not just that, to whom is the land leased to? Women. So what is it also leading to? It is also leading to women empowerment. Ultimately, can I also say it is leading to development of what? Agriculture. So it's a classical case study where three things are coming together: women empowerment, democratic decentralization, and development of agriculture. This is what economic survey has highlighted. समझ में आया सबको? Just remember one thing, that in case of Kerala, the land bank is nothing but Gram Panchayat. Is this okay if I cover some topics in this format? Chalega? Okay. Because I think it is more efficient way of covering as more topics. Otherwise, writing the same topics is taking me more time, because of which I'm able to cover very less topics. And at the same time, to ensure that you have proper notes, I'm making it as self-explanatory as possible, like this. In one page, you have everything related to leasing. Hope this is okay. अगर कुछ concerns है तो बता देना मुझे, कोई problem नहीं है. Is that an okay? Okay. Let me show you a question. Okay, take your time. I want the answer structure. Online students, any doubts? Okay, Kanishka will look into it. Done. What's the framework? Just show me. Okay. Hmm. Good. Pass it on. Starting with small and marginal farmers. But the question is very broad based, not just related to small and marginal farmers. Leasing is going to benefit everyone. Though I have given the example of a small and marginal farmer to make it more effective, but it's for everyone. Okay, but यहाँ पे एक point dimension missing है आपका. Where have you mentioned about the present status? When you say legalization is important, don't you think the most important thing that you should also mention is what is the present status of leasing? Pass it on. Okay. What's the intro? Good. Which are those states which have liberal tenancy laws? Yes, good. That is the present status is must. Okay. Without writing present status, your answer will be meaningless. What percentage of land is under formal tenancy in India? Only 10%. Even that is also equally important. The fact. So look at the question here. The same thing what I've written dictated to you, that becomes your introduction. Leasing is integral part of land reforms with focus on regulation of rent and security of tenure. Then what is the present status? After the present status, why tenancy should be legalized? When you say why it should be legalized, you should talk about how it is going to address the problems of agriculture and how it is going to benefit the economy in general. After that, the way forward. That is, you can directly talk about the Niti Ayogs. Remember the statement which I said? Leasing should not be seen as a symbol of feudalism, but it should become a economic necessity. That should be what should be there in the conclusion. Value addition, you can incorporate diagram benefiting the highlighting the benefits of legalization. Case study of land leasing from the state of Kerala. You can use that case study where, why it should be allowed, and data related to extent of informal tenancy. Is there any problem? After that, where you incorporate present status then? You can do that. As long as you write the present status, I have no problem. You have to incorporate present status. Uh-huh. Come again? Which regulations as in like? Because it is state specific. What will you write? Had it been there only one law, you can write with that. But it is state specific. Different states have different legislations on facilitating leasing. So there it's very difficult to write that. Huh. Okay, here understand when you come across the word argue. Argue का मतलब ये है there is a statement and you have to argue in favor of the statement. Argue is not to, it's not like an essay topic कि आप argue in favor also and against also. Whenever you come across the word argue, it means argue in favor of the statement. If the statement would have been something like critically analyze, then equal focus on benefits and challenges. So when I say argue, argue means in favor of the statement. Is everyone clear with this? No doubts? Okay. I have just incorporated one topic here. This is how fragmented land holding has a problem for the agriculture. You can start from here. It's a very easy topic. 1, 2. Okay. 3, 4. Just have a look at these topics one by one. What's the present status? I think we have already covered this. Present status. What percentage of farmers are small and marginal? 86. And how much amount of land they own? 48. Look at the problems faced by the small and marginal farmers as well as overall economy. While discussing Dalwai panel, we covered problems related to inputs, problems related to productivity, problems related to prices. What should be done to address this problem of fragmented land holding? क्या करना चाहिए? I'm very sure all of you know these points. But the thing here is, if a question is asked in the mains, you go blank. What I've done, what you already know, I've just put it in one particular place. That's it. So that if a question is related to fragmented land holding, you're able to recall all these points at one particular place. I hope they are quite simple. Okay. Let's move to the next one, next topic. Loosen space and write modernization of land records. Now we'll, inheritance laws. Okay, can I even explain how inheritance laws lead to fragmented land holdings? The father's property gets equally divided. So that is how the land is getting fragmented over a period of time. A father owns 10 acres, it gets divided into 5 acres each. The son might have 2 more sons. That 5 acres will get divided into 2.5 acres each. That 2.5 acre will further get divided. So that is how it is getting fragmented. Social causes like breakdown of joint family. Okay. Look at these questions with respect to land records. What is the heading that you wrote? Modernization of land records. Okay, there, under this topic, these are the things that we are going to cover. What are the challenges in modernization of land record? You know, many major initiatives related to modernization. One, there is Swamitva scheme. Then, AgriStack is there. What's the biggest initiative for modernizing land record? National Land Records Modernization Program, Digital India National Land Records Modernization Program. If you are able to recall, it was a question asked in the prelims of 2024 also. There was one question about this particular scheme. Similar to Swamitva scheme in rural areas, recently government has launched a similar scheme for urban areas. Anyone knows the name of the scheme? Naksha. Not heard of it? Okay, we'll cover all of that. Okay. So here the question is, what are the challenges in modernization of land records and what initiatives have been taken? And I've been telling you about two types of titling system. One is presumptive and conclusive. Okay. So write the list of dimensions. List of dimensions. Number one. Meaning of land records. Meaning of land records. Second, types of titling system. Types of titling system. Third, need for modernizing land records. Need for modernizing land records. Fourth, challenges. Fourth one is challenges. Initiatives. Initiatives and strategies. Okay, so let's start with the first dimension. The first dimension is meaning of land records. Right, meaning. Okay, when you hear the word land records, what record are we talking about? That's the most fundamental question. Okay, I get ownership, but what is that document called as? Land record. When you say land record in India, what document are we talking about? क्या बोलते हैं उसे? Okay, then no, this is the irony. Everyone knows that we have to modernize land record, but if you ask them which record you should talk about, people go blank. Because first and foremost, you need to know what has to be modernized even before understanding how it should be modernized. So I just wanted to make you understand this. So सबसे पहले we'll start with what do you mean by land records, the meaning. You just pay attention and dictate these things. Okay. When we say land records in India, land records basically means three documents. Three documents. One is called as record of rights. Second one is called as survey map. And the third one is called as the sale deed. I hope you must have heard about sale deed. Okay, let's start from here. Record of rights. Record of rights is called by different names in different states. Probably in the state you belong to, that record of rights might be called by different name. For example, to give you an exact picture of what exactly record of rights looks like, I have taken a screenshot of record of rights from the state of Maharashtra. This document, record of rights in the state of Maharashtra, it is called as Adhikar Abhilekh Patrak. It is state specific name. What this record of rights captures? It captures, number one, as you can see, who is the owner of the land. The owner of the land. Then it captures the survey number of the land. It captures what kind of crops are grown on the land, what kind of soil the agricultural field has, black soil, red soil, etc. Whether the farmer has taken loans on that particular land, whether the loans so taken have they been repaid or not. So everything that you need to know with respect to a particular parcel of land, all of that record is captured in the record of rights. Which department will maintain this? It is maintained by the revenue department. You must have heard about Tahsildar. Tahsildar at a block level, taluka level. So under Tahsildar, you'll have this village accountants like patwaris, talatis, etc. These patwaris, talatis, etc. will maintain this such a record. Based upon what I have explained, do you know the names of this particular record of rights from your own state? Huh? What is that called as? Sat? Okay. Then, what is that? Which state? Chhattisgarh. Then, you guys are staying in urban area, तो agriculture में क्या हो रहा है पता नहीं है. Yeah. In most of the states, it is known by the word khata. Khata. Or in southern states, is also called as patta. It's called as patta, right? So this is what is a record of right. Is that part clear to everyone? So right, number one, record of rights. Record of rights. Put a hyphen and write. Contains the details of the land. Contains the details of the land, such as owner, such as the owner, comma, type of land, comma, crops grown, comma, nature of soil, loans taken, etc. हाँ. हाँ, there's a concept of 99 acres, 99 years का वो होता है. That's normally what is written there, the law. Okay, next is survey map. Okay, under that only it is maintained by revenue department. Continue that. Maintained by the revenue department. Maintained by the revenue department. Okay, next one is survey map. Next one is survey map. Okay, put a hyphen and write spatial map. SPATIAL, spatial map of the entire village with unique survey number, assigned to every parcel of land, with unique survey number assigned to every parcel of land. Okay. Now this is the sample survey map which I have taken. This is actually Telugu. I guess it is from Andhra Pradesh. So as you can see here, this is how the survey map looks like. Now you can see this survey map of a village which assigns unique survey number to every parcel of land. Let's say you own a particular parcel of land with a survey number of 428. This survey map is actually integrated with the record of rights. As you can see, In record of rights, what are we capturing? The survey number. Let's say I have this record of rights. In record of rights, I know, for example, the agricultural field that I own has a unique survey number of 428. But I want to know where is actually my agricultural field located, and more importantly, who are the neighboring owners of that agricultural field. What I can do, I can look at the survey map. In this survey map, I can get to know that to my north, this is the survey number. To my south, this is my survey number. To my west, this is my survey number. So this is how I can get to know the exact location. Sometimes, the disputes also arise over the boundaries of a property. Na? So that disputes to large extent are addressed by this survey map. Because record of rights will only tell us who owns the parcel of land. It does not tell us the exact dimension of that particular survey of land. You must understand, not every parcel of land is rectangular, perfectly rectangular. You can come across certain parcel of land which can be like a pentagonal ways. You can see they're very haphazard. Here dekho, they're very haphazard. How do you know the exact boundary? That exact boundary is from survey map. And who prepares the survey map? There is a separate department for that, which is the survey department. So, right, maintained by the survey department. Maintained by the survey department. How do you know, or how do you think that they are updated? Survey record. Huh? They are using the spatial technology, like people use drone technology, satellite technology, etc. And you'll be surprised to know in some of the states, the survey record has not been updated for more than 35 to 40 years, especially in the northern states. So they're not undertaken surveys. So you'll find that there's a huge incoherence between the record of rights and the survey map. Next record. Next record is sale deed. Sale deed. SALE DEED. Sale deed. Okay, just pay attention. What is this sale deed ka concept? I'll explain it legally, and then I'll explain it to you how the sale deed actually works. In India, we have an act called as Transfer of Property Act. What this act says, if there is a person X, this person X, let's say if he's selling his property to person Y, the Transfer of Property Act says that when this transfer of property is taking place, this transaction should be captured in a document. It should be documented in a particular paper. Now, this particular document will tell us that person X bearing so and so survey number is selling his property to person Y. This transaction is captured in a document. Did you understand the first thing? Transfer of Property Act. There is a second act. The second act is called as Registration Act. The Registration Act says whatever document which is capturing this transaction between X and Y, this document should be registered with whom? With the government. And here the government has appointed a special officer. Who is that officer called as? Registrar. Has anyone been involved in a property transaction? Not that I'm not asking whether you have purchased, but you must have gone with your family members for a transaction. Has anyone gone with that? No? You guys are complete in Delhi only, is it? बाहर की दुनिया पता ही नहीं है आपको. Okay. If you generally go for a registration of property along with the family member, some of you might have acted as a witness to the transaction, right? So you go before a registrar's office. The registrar will take your details like Aadhaar card. They'll take a picture of the buyer and seller. Then you put your signature in front of the registrar. It means that once you put your signature as a witness, it means that document will be kept with the government. That document will act like a proof for this person Y, to show that this person Y actually owns the property. समझ में आया? Okay. So right. Sale deed. It's a document. It is a document showing the transfer of property. It is a document showing the transfer of property and registered with the government. And registered with the government. Maintained by the office of registrar. Maintained by the office of registrar. Okay. Is that clear to everyone? Next, and more important, types of titling system. Make the heading types of titling. I'll write it. Types of titling system. Okay. Right? Titling system. These are not in the, this one is not there. Okay, that's why I'm dictating. Because there are some things a little complicated. Because some things are very complicated, I'm just dictating it so that we can get to know it in a much better manner. Titling system, right? Titling system is a system. Titling system is a system which establishes the ownership. Which establishes the ownership of the property. Which establish the ownership of the property. There are two types of titling system. There are two types of titling system. Put a hyphen and write. Presumptive. Presumptive. And conclusive. Presumptive and conclusive titling system. Okay. Full stop. Presently, India follows. Presently, India follows presumptive titling system. Presumptive titling system. Okay, now pay attention. If you look at both these titling system, their role is same. Their role is to establish ownership of the property. Both will tell us as to who exactly is the owner of a property. It's like saying, let's say this is a parcel of land. Now, how do you know as to who is the owner of this land property? To know the ownership, there is one system called as presumptive and other one which is called as conclusive. Both are used for the same purpose. But in India right now, which model is used? presumptive. How is ownership established? When I say presumptive, right? In presumptive titling, the ownership is established based upon a, look at the word, मैंने क्या लिखा है? Presumption. What do you mean by presumption? Presumption is nothing but assumption. You assume something. What are you assuming here under presumptive titling? Here the assumption that we make is person having sale deed is the owner of the property. Here we are assuming कि किसके पास sale deed है, that person is the owner of that property. We are making only an assumption. For example, let's say here for this property was owned by person X and then sold to person Y. Here what will happen is Y says that I am the owner since I have the sale deed registered in my name. Here Y would say I am the owner. Why he is the owner? Because he says because sale deed is in my name. The sale deed shows that I have purchased the property from X. Okay, now tell me, everyone, just pay attention. You can write down later, I'll dictate this also. Let's say this is a piece of paper. I am the owner of the land. Let's say I own a land in the Greater Noida, for example. You want to purchase the land. I come to you. I says I have the ownership of this land in Greater Noida, and I will say I am the owner because I have the sale deed. I'll show you the sale deed. You can see my name. I have purchased this property from some other person. So which means I am the owner. I am saying that I am the owner. Should you purchase this property directly from me? Directly purchase करना चाहिए? Think of it. You will verify something. सबसे पहले तो someone says कि they own a property somewhere and if they show you paper, do not believe them blindly. Do not believe them blindly, because in India you can have a fake Aadhaar card. If there's a fake Aadhaar card, you can have a fake sale deed also. People are clever enough. You must understand, people get fake engineering degrees by paying some amount. You know that, no? If people can get a fake engineering degree, people can get a fake sale deed also. It's very simple. There's an original sale deed. I'll take that original sale deed. I'll change the name of the seller. I'll remove the person Y name. I'll put my name and say, look, this is registered in my name. You can purchase the property. And I can probably tell you, today, only if you purchase, you give me some advance amount right now, because I'm in immediate need of money. We will do the registration later because I'm in immediate need of money. If I want to sell it to a later stage, probably I will sell it at a higher price. Today is the best offer that you can get. People fall into such traps. It's a real example which keeps happening in Greater Noida. When I started the example, I started from that real example only. Multiple times it has appeared in Indian Express that fake sale deeds have been used by people to con others. Getting that point? So someone shows you sale deed, never believe them blindly. सबसे पहले क्या करना चाहिए? You have to check the authenticity of the sale deed. How will you check the authenticity of the sale deed? You go to registrar's office, you take a Xerox copy from me. In this case, you take a Xerox copy because I have the original sale deed. You take a Xerox copy, you check, go to registrar's office and just check whether the same copy is with the registrar's office. Did you get the point? Okay. Has anyone gone to registrar's office in your lifetime? 1, 2. If you go to registrar's office, especially in tier 2, tier 3 cities, it looks like a proper government office. A proper government office means there's something called as record room. Record room means don't think of modern servers being kept there. When I say record room means there's a red cloth. In that red cloth, they keep all these documents, sale deed. And let's say I am saying that I have purchased this particular property in 1970s. You are going to registrar's office to check for the equivalent sale deed of which year? 1970s. जो पड़ा हुआ है किसी कोने में, रेड कलर क्लोथ में. I'm talking about few states where, especially in tier 2 and tier 3 cities, right? My state is one of the most modernized state when it comes to land reforms. I know my condition in tier 2 cities. Okay. Anyways, if you go to a particular tier 2 or tier 3 cities, if you ask the officials there as to whether can I get a simple sample copy of that, in government offices, if you want to get some work done, there's always a scope for speed money. You pay money to get the work done faster. So you have to pay them some money, they'll get the work done faster. In most of the cases, it may take at least some 7 to 10 days to get this particular copy verified. Let's say you have copy verified, you have checked it is both same. Uske baad, after that, should it still go ahead and purchase? The second round of verification also which you have to do. What is that? You should also check whether the land is under dispute or not. It might be registered in my name. Yes. But it might have so happened that my brother has filed a case against me. And that case is going on in the court since last 15 years. And I'm trying to sell this property as soon as possible. You are afraid that if you purchase this disputed property, my brother and you will now become a party to dispute. In India, never get into court or police. Police case and court case में कभी पढ़ना नहीं चाहिए. You know that, right? So now, if you want to know whether the land is under dispute, litigation, आपको कहाँ पे जाना पड़ेगा फिर? You'll have to go to court. You have to hire a lawyer, you need to go to court, and in the court you need to check whether there are some disputes going around or not. Getting this point? It means as a buyer, there is huge burden on the buyer. Number one, check the authenticity of the sale deed. And second, check if there is any kind of dispute on that. So, right? Burden on the buyer. We'll come to that also. Do not worry. Burden on the buyer, first point. Check the authenticity of the sale deed. Second, check for disputes on the land. Check for disputes on the land. Under this only, next point, burden on the government. Burden on the government. Minimum burden. Minimum burden as the government has to only register the property. Only register the property. Next, under criteria, future litigations. Under criteria only, future litigations. Under this criteria, after the burden on the government, niche, future litigations, right? Buyer becomes the party to the dispute. Buyer becomes party to the dispute. So if you purchase a disputed land, you will also become a party to the dispute. Last one, title insurance. Title insurance. Under criteria, there you can write no compensation. No compensation if the buyer loses the property. No compensation if the buyer loses the property due to litigation. Due to litigation. Okay, let's see here. Conclusive titling, I hope you mentioned here. Establish ownership. I'll explain. I'll just compare this and you'll get more clarity on this. Okay, here. The word which I've said is, it is based upon a assumption, presumption. Look at this. यहाँ पे क्या लिखा है? Conclusive. यहाँ पे, how do you know as to who is the owner? That is full and final. That is conclusive. How is that we are able to reach a conclusion that a particular person is the owner of the land? Right? Under this, government confers title. Government confers title on the owner. Government confers title on the owner. Under that, you can write example. For example, for the next criteria, right? Government says, Y is the owner of the property. Government says Y is the owner of the property. Okay, now hold on to that. In presumptive titling, assuming I am Y, I am coming to you, I am saying I am the owner because you can check the sale deed. Sale deed is in my name, so I am the owner. In conclusive, I need not say anything to me, to you. In this case, who is saying that I am the owner? The government itself. Government will provide a document like this. Government says that I, the government of India, proves or says that this person is the owner of the land. School grammar में पढ़ा होगा active voice and passive voice. It's like that, active voice and passive voice. Here I am saying I am the owner. Here I did not say anything. The government says this person is the owner. Now tell me, as a buyer, is there any burden on you in conclusive titling? Do you have to undertake any kind of background verification whether it is genuine? Genuineness to hona chahiye, because we don't know, people can still have that kind of document, but court litigations and other stuff, it is not needed. I hope you understood. Burden is very less on the buyer, but burden abhi kiske upar shift karega? Government. Now who has to verify the background things? The government. So right, that side. Burden on the buyer, minimum. Burden on the buyer, minimum. Burden on the government, higher burden on the government. Higher burden on the government, as the government has to confer title, after doing background verification. After doing background verification. Next. I think you mentioned the next criteria is party to litigations, no? Future litigation. Okay, who do you think becomes party to the future litigation? Government will become a party to the future litigation. Here, buyer will not become a party, because whose mistake it is? Government's mistake. If at all the government gives a title. So, right, government becomes a party to the future litigation. What's the last point that you wrote? title insurance. What is title insurance? As the name suggests, insurance for the title that you get. If you purchase a disputed property under presumptive titling, and by chance, if you lose the ownership of that particular property, the government is not going to pay you any kind of compensation in case of presumptive. In case of conclusive titling, first and foremost, the government will not allow you to purchase a disputed property. But by chance, if you purchase a disputed property and later you lose the ownership of that disputed property, then the government will pay you that compensation amount. That is what is title insurance. Is that clear? So, right? Government pays compensation. Government pays compensation if the buyer loses the property due to litigations. Okay, fine. Now, all of you take your time. Tell me some 4 to 5 points as to why do you think India must modernize its records. Take your time. Need for modernizing records. Huh. Come again? They are not, यहाँ पे you are not taking for a insurance. It's not like a vehicle insurance or life insurance. When I say title insurance means by default, if you purchase a disputed property, government will promise you to pay compensation. You don't have to pay any kind of premium or something like that. It's not a life insurance or a vehicle insurance. We call it as insurance because it's a kind of protection that you get by default from the government side. Why should you modernize the land records? Take your time. How many points? Huh? 1 point? Take your time. I need more, at least 4 to 5. What's the first point that you wrote? Good, good. Second point is good. ये कैसे हो गया point? Explain that. How it is good for the economy. I think it will facilitate transparent transactions in the real estate market. That you can write. Land becomes more liquid as an asset. Good, good, good. That's a good point. So that word जो आपने भी use किया ना, keyword, infuse more liquidity in the real estate market. That is a good word. Keyword. आपने क्या लिखा? Okay, good. Easy transactions. What's the best point? I think she has written one good point. She says that it will help to get easy access to credit. If you have modernized land records, we can establish the ownership, which will in turn enable the farmers to have easier access to credit. Good point. I think he has a very good point. He says it will facilitate the land acquisition much more faster. Now, why does land acquisition get delayed most of the time? Is because in land acquisition, you need to establish the ownership of the land so that you can take their approval, and after taking approval, you can pay them compensation. If land records itself are not modernized, you don't know who is the owner. You don't know to whom the compensation has to be paid. You don't know whose approval you have to take for land acquisition. Good. It will streamline the process of land acquisition. He says a good point, which is the same point like him. It will reduce the pendency of cases before the court of law. If you know, most of the cases pending before the court, they are mostly related to land disputes. Huh? Yeah, good. We can efficiently implement land reforms. Good. Then anything else? Huh? We can facilitate leasing of agricultural land also. That point also you can write. It will help us establish land bank. Okay. Then okay. Is that part clear to everyone? I'll discuss this point. We'll come to that point. Next, I want everyone to take a moment and think like this. One of the role of district collector, district magistrate, is also to implement land reforms, especially modernizing the land records. Assume that you have got posted to a district where all the land records are not computerized. They are more modernized. All the land records are in the storeroom, like the way I said, they are kept in the red cloths. As a district magistrate, take a moment and tell me, step by step, how will you start modernizing or digitizing the land records? There's a reason why I'm asking you to carry out this exercise. Because if you tell me what steps are needed for modernizing land record, the same will be the challenges of modernizing land record. सबसे first step क्या करना चाहिए? No, before you undertake survey, there's something else. All the papers that are there, the first thing what he says is all the papers are in what format? Paper-based format. You need to convert this into digitize. So what you have to do is you have to convert them into soft copy. What are you converting into soft copy? Three things. What are those three things? A record of rights, survey map, and the sale deed. That's the first step. Uske baad, what will you do? You have to cross check whether they are in the same things. Like whether if record of rights is showing that one person is the owner, the same thing should be there in what? Sale deed. There has to be a coherence between the record of rights, sale deed, and the survey map. You have to check for errors and update them accordingly. यहाँ तक clear हो गया? ये अभी तक until now what did you do is the old records you modernized, you digitized. But that's not the only aspect of digitizing land record, because after this also new records are going to be generated, new transactions are going to be done. How do you ensure digitization of new records? You have to undertake resurveys. That's the first thing. Good. उसके बाद सोचो, where is the sale deed generated? Which office? What we should do? Computerize, digitize the registrar's office. It means you must have seen now, if you walk into a registrar's office, especially in big cities, it is completely digitized. It is completely modernized, such that now all the sale deeds are generated on a computer. There's no paper-based sale deed. They're computerized. They take your picture in front of the registrar, you put your signature, everything is streamlined, everything is digitized. So you have digitized the old record. Now what did you do? You have digitized the new record. But people should also have access to land record, no? How will people have access to land record? Socho. There has to be a single website. In that single website, if people are entering their survey number, then just by entering survey number, people should be able to say record of rights, survey map, as well as the sale deed at one particular place, for which you need to set up data centers. Data centers should be linked to a single window mechanism. if I could show you the entire process, please look at this. Okay. Start from here. Digitization of land record. This is the process. Scanning and uploading existing documents. After you upload the existing documents, you have to correct the errors in the existing documents. For that, you have to establish ownership. You have to have synchronization between record of rights and sale deed. I told you, who is maintaining sale deed? Registrar. Who is having the record of rights? Revenue department. दोनों department के पास क्या होना चाहिए? Coordination होना चाहिए. There has to be a coordination between these two departments and the survey department also. Conduct resurveys and update survey map so as to ensure synchronization between textual record and spatial record. Computerization of registrar's office. Data centers at district and state level. And lastly, there has to be a single window access. One of the state which has done all these things is the Karnataka state. In Karnataka, there is a project which is called as Bhumi project. Can you see what they have done in Bhumi project? They have banned issuance of manual record of rights. Record of rights are always digitized. Second, they have started issuing digital land records. Third, they have integrated land records with other services. Example being, Bhumi portal is integrated with another portal called as Kaveri. This Kaveri portal is for what? Registration. As soon as you register a transaction, that transaction is captured on which portal? Kaveri portal. And that portal will immediately be connected to Bhumi portal, and the Bhumi portal will get updated accordingly. जो registration है, registration is digitized, and not just digitized, it is integrated with the Bhumi portal. Second, for undertaking survey, they have a separate portal called as Mojini portal. As soon as the survey record is updated, that survey record is integrated with the Bhumi portal. Kaveri, which department is that? Registrar. That is getting integrated. Mojini, survey department, that is getting integrated. And look at this. All the banks in Karnataka, they also have access to Bhumi portal. As a farmer, you can walk into any bank in Karnataka and say, this is my survey number. You don't have to carry physical copies of a paper. They'll just enter the survey number. They will look at who is the owner of that particular property, how much loan has been taken in the past, whether the loan has been repaid on time. All these details will get in one particular place. And you just have to show your Aadhaar card. Based upon that, immediately the loan will get sanctioned. Otherwise, taking loan, especially for farmer, is very lengthy and a cumbersome process. So I hope you understood. Now, you understood how we have to digitize records. Take a moment, 1 minute, just like how you generated points with respect to need for modernizing land records, try to generate points with respect to challenges of modernizing land records. What are the challenges of modernizing land records? And keep this framework in mind. I told you there's a reason why I'm discussing this. Yes, anyone has 3 to 4? Huh. I think he has a good point. He says there's huge records which are quite old. Then I think cost should not be a factor here. There's something, huh? They don't have the proper infrastructure. I think that is how you can write it. Instead of writing costly, you can say necessary digital infrastructure does not exist. That's huh. Training and capacity building of the government officials. You might not realize now, once you get into bureaucracy, you'll get to know, especially the lower level bureaucracy is not very expert at using computers. And you're talking about updating survey map, and for updating survey map you are now using advanced technologies like the drone technology, satellite technology, which government officials might not be very expert at. Good. Mhm. Dispute arises while undertaking a resurvey. Why that dispute arises? Because there's lack of coordination. Anyone else? Huh. Hmm? Okay, good. I think this is a point which I was expecting for. Normally in India, I'll tell you what should happen. Where do you register your property? In which particular office? Registrar's office. Let's say I have purchased this particular property from another person X. I purchased this property and that particular document is called as sale deed. This is with the registrar's department. Ideally, ideally what should happen is immediately the registrar's office should inform the revenue department, and the revenue department should be asked to update the ownership right. Earlier in the record of right, who was the owner? X. That should get changed to my name in the record of rights. Automatically that should happen. This process is also called as mutation. What is mutation? Automatic updation of which record? Record of rights. Based upon what? Based upon sale deed. This automatic mutation does not take place in India. When this automatic mutation does not take place, क्या होता है? Sale deed will show my name, whereas the record of rights will show the name of X. There is lack of coordination. I hope you understood. Any other point that you think? Ah, on? Okay, then just have a look at this. If at all a question is asked on land records management, these are the dimensions that you should keep in your mind. Go ahead, number. I have added number 1. What is it about? Land records in India. We discussed there are 3 types of land records. Second thing, how many types of titling system they have? Presumptive and conclusive. We have covered. I asked you to do a brainstorming on the importance. Look at these points. When you told me points, you have highlighted about this, reducing pendency of cases. You have told me about ensuring access to credit. You have told me about land acquisition. Ease of doing business will improve because if the land acquisition become more streamlined, ease of doing business. What is the main source of revenue for the urban local bodies and the PRIs? Property tax. If you have modernized land records, it becomes easier for the urban local bodies and the PRIs to identify who is the owner. Based upon that, their revenues will also increase. Improved customer service delivery, which I have explained to you from the state of Karnataka. I hope you are able to remember. What is that project called as? Bhumi project. We discussed there's Bhumi and Kaveri integration, Bhumi and Mojini integration. Improved governance, better land use planning, development of slums, especially in the urban areas, if you are able to establish the ownership, we can undertake redevelopment of slums. Then it can also help us in disaster management. For example, can you tell me one slum which has now been redeveloped? That is how you can do it. Dharavi slum redevelopment project, provided you know the land records. Who is owning how much amount of land? Look at the challenges. Challenges side, I think we have already covered this. Presumptive titling system. We covered this is considered to be imposing higher burden on the buyer. It is risky and it has led to underdeveloped market. Why it has got underdeveloped market? Because you must understand, when the land gets under dispute, the land as an resource remains inefficiently utilized. So you must have come across a lot of properties in India which are disputed. And until the dispute gets resolved, that particular property remains unused, unproductive. There are multiple documents to establish ownership. Sale deed is there and record of rights. So between these two, if there's a conflict, which one is considered to be superior? Sale deed. Sale deed is considered to be more superior. Multiple departments, look at this word. This is a key word that you should write. Working in silos, leading to lack of automatic mutation. Automatic mutation means as soon as you register a sale deed should lead to registration of record of rights, which is not taking place. So there is lack of synchronization because we do not have an automatic mutation. There is lack of synchronization between record of rights and sale deed. Lack of synchronization between textual record and spatial record. Look at this point. Lack of uniformity. Different states have different land records. In different states, the language is different, script is different. So there's lack of uniformity in script and language. We are modernizing land records at a national level. Because there's so much of variance in script and language, it becomes very problematic. Second, there is no uniform standard also. Like I showed you record of rights from state of Maharashtra. The data, the information which record of rights in Maharashtra is capturing might be different from record of rights in Karnataka. Uniform standard is not there. So that is the another problem. And I told you one of the biggest initiative for modernizing land record. What is it? Digital India Land Records Modernization Program. We'll cover one by one other things also, but I hope you must have heard about this, right? Just take a look. ये सारे importance हैं, ये सारे challenges हैं. No doubts here? Okay. Let's say the question is something like this. In your rough, do not write in the main copy. In your rough, write. Discuss the scope and significance. Discuss the scope and significance of DILRMP. DILRMP, which is Digital India Land Records Modernization Program. Look at the first word. What is the first word? Scope. I have not discussed anything about Digital India Land Records Modernization Program, but let's say that's a question which is asked. Scope. Scope का मतलब ये है, what are we exactly doing under this particular program? What will you write? Scope. Huh? Addressing challenges or good. Or socho. He said one important point. He said the process of digitizing land record. Can you see this process? Disclaimer. ये प्रोसेस मैंने कॉपी किया है. कहाँ से कॉपी किया है? डिजिटल इंडिया लैंड रिकॉर्ड्स मॉनिटरिंग प्रोग्राम. दैट्स इट. This is the scope of Digital India Land Records Modernization Program. If a question is asked, what is the scope? Do you have to remember anything about this? You just have to think ki how should we modernize records? What kind of records should we modernize? Old records also and the new records also. This is what is the scope of Digital India Land Records Modernization Program. Do not worry, it's there in the next slide. I'll show you everything. I'm trying to make you understand ki if you know this, from here itself we can generate multiple points. Second part, what is second part? What will write significance of Digital India Land Records Modernization Program? Disclaimer. कहाँ से लिया मैंने points? The same. Digital India Land Records Modernization Program. These are not my points. These are from the scheme only. I hope you understood. I have made this mind map look like as if I'm discussing about land records modernization program, but this is a multi-purpose mind map which will help you to write answer about this scheme also. Let's say the question is, what are the challenges to Digital India Land Records Modernization Program? Same points. Next question, write it. In the rough only. Next question, in the rough. Benefits and challenges of conclusive titling. Benefits and challenges of conclusive titling. यहाँ पे benefits क्या लिखोगे आप conclusive titling के? No. Apart from obviously after writing the features of conclusive titling, the benefits of conclusive titling is same as the significance of modernizing records. Can I write these points there? What are the challenges of conclusive titling? Challenges of modernizing land records. That's it. Clear with that? So this particular mind map, you can use it for digitization or modernizing land record. You can use it for Digital India Land Records Modernization Program, or you can use it for conclusive titling. But conclusive titling is like Ram Rajya. I hope you understood. It's an utopia. We'll say that we will move towards conclusive titling. In fact, that is the objective of Digital India Land Records Modernization Program. You can see here. It is one of the objective of Digital India Land Records Modernization Program. Look at the scope. And look at the objective also. I told you about title insurance, ना? यहाँ पे क्या लिखा है? Title guarantee. Same. So this is one important scheme. Okay, here I just want to explain one thing. Why do you think we have to amend this Registration Act? No, not that. There's something else. One, it is very old. Second, in Registration Act, what are you actually registering? You are not registering ownership, understand? You are registering a document. I told you there are two acts in India. One is Transfer of Property Act and the second one is Registration Act. Under Registration Act, only a document is getting registered. Government is not conferring a title. So we have to amend the Registration Act so as to empower the government to confer title on the buyer. It is the wrong way, no? That's what I said. Under Registration Act, You are registering a document, and using this document, the person is saying, I own the property because sale deed is in my name. So, but government is never saying na, that this person is the owner. Just check the differences between presumptive and conclusive. Is the government anytime saying that this person is the owner? Government is never saying that this person is the owner. Government is only registering what? Document. In conclusive titling, government is saying this person is the owner. That is the fundamental change. Huh. That is not conclusive titling. That is only the property card. It's a record of rights. I think I mentioned here. Record of rights. Okay, I'll come to that point. Is this part clear? For your understanding, I've also incorporated, look at this, introduction of legal changes. Presently, there is no law empowering the government to create a record of titles which would be conclusive. For example, the titling cannot operate under the present Registration Act, which provides for registration of sale deed and not the title. I hope it's clear. Okay. Look at this. This is one nation, one software. Why do we need one nation, one software? Because while discussing the challenges of modernizing land records, I told you land records are in different scripts. They are in different languages. To convert land records from different script, different languages into one single type of land record, we have one nation, one software. How does it work? I think it's not important. Just know that this is one of the initiative. You must have heard about this scheme, everyone. Swamitva scheme. Okay, I'll just explain to you if you have heard about this. Okay, this is a little confusing. Pay attention. Let's say this is a rural areas. In rural areas, this rural area can be divided into two parts broadly. One is non-Abadi areas, and the other one is the Abadi areas. Abadi areas, as the name suggests, this is where people have their houses. जहाँ पे लोगों का घर होता है, Abadi areas. Non-Abadi areas are those places where people have what? Agricultural fields. Under Swamitva scheme, first and foremost, it does not provide for ownership rights over the agricultural field. Swamitva scheme is covering only what areas? Abadi areas, which is very important for your prelims. In Abadi areas, what we do, we are using a drone technology. By using drone technology, we are carrying out a survey. After carrying out a survey, we are providing for record of rights. For what? Not for agricultural land. What are we giving record of rights for? For these houses which the people own. घर के लिए. क्या benefit है लोगों को? What's the benefit if you get a record of rights for the house that you own in the rural areas? You can use that particular record of right as a collateral to take loans. It is not for land, it is only for houses. That's what I mentioned. Establish clear ownership of property in the rural Abadi areas by mapping the parcels using the drone technology and providing record of rights to the village households. Similar to Swamitva scheme, which is for rural areas, recently government has launched another scheme which is called as what? Naksha. The difference is this scheme, Swamitva is for rural, Naksha is for urban. Any idea which ministry is implementing Naksha scheme? It becomes important for your prelims, but still. Wrong. That's why I told you. Naksha scheme, you think it is Ministry of Urban Development. It is wrong. Surprisingly, it is Ministry of Rural Development. You must be wondering कि Ministry of Rural Development क्या कर रहा है urban area में? Because Ministry of Rural Development has a separate Department of Land Resources. Department of Land Resources implementing this particular Naksha scheme. हाँ 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 हाँ, everything is done. They do the verification, everything is done. Only after that they issue a property card. It's not conclusive titling. Here we are only providing for property card, record of rights by the government. It is not conclusive titling. Mhm. The property card will be issued to the owner in that case. No, no, they are standalone. So Digital India Land Records Modernization Program is separate, Swamitwa scheme is separate, and Naksha is different. Swamitwa is not for land. Actually, Swamitwa is for rural houses. Naksha is for urban houses. Digital India Land Records Modernization Program, as the name suggests, it is specifically for land only. So, just look at the initiatives that you have, sorry, the list of topics. एक था हमारा, what is the meaning? Meaning of land records. Second one is titling, importance, then challenges, initiatives, and the strategies. Just look at this one and this one. Other things are very generic. We should set up a national level authority called as National Titling Authority. This authority should be set up in order to facilitate the conclusive titling in India. We must introduce legal changes. I hope I am explained to that, because the Registration Act does not provide for conclusive titling now. Huh. This is not going to issue titling, but what it can do is, just like a Niti Ayog, it can provide for a hand-holding support to the states. The states might need financial support, or let's say technological support, uh, and other kind of support which can be provided by this particular authority. This is a recommendation given by this expert committee. Okay, so what I have done basically, ये सारे details हैं about the initiatives, but to ensure that everything is at one particular place, I just added the short forms here. Can you see? Swamitva, Naksha, UL Unique Land Parcel Identification Number, One Nation, One Software, and last May I have also added the strategies. Strategies which include changes to Registration Act, National Land Titling Authority, and we can also use blockchain technology in days to come. Especially it helps in modernizing the land records. समझ में आया? Is everyone clear? Okay. Look at all these questions, everyone. except the fifth one. Hope you'll be able to write answer to all. We have not just covered these things. What we have also done is we have also covered the PYQs also. All these PYQs. Huh. Huh. Make a passing reference to challenges. In Argue also you can make a passing reference to challenges. Passing reference, but you should not give more emphasis on the challenges. If the question is critically analyzed, only then equal focus to benefits and challenges. Huh. This one, right? Let's say this is a question. Discuss the role of land reforms in agriculture development. Here, mostly you're focusing on the positives only, no? Here also in the practice question also. Huh. Most of the points is about the benefits, but then you can also make a passing reference to the problems. Like only few states have adopted the liberal tendency laws in India. Clear? Hai? Can I take another 5 minutes? Okay, I just want to complete this land pooling before we end. Do not worry, I'll just wind it up as soon as possible. Just I need 5 to 10 minutes. Even though it is part of current affairs, I just wanted to cover it here itself. Okay. You can see here land pooling policy was in news in the context of Punjab. I told you before that the farmers in Punjab were protesting against the land pooling policy. Anyone knows what is this land pooling? How does it work? Huh. 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 Okay. Hmm. Hmm. No, they don't provide. They don't give any money. हाँ वो तो करंट अफेयर्स क्लास में कवर किया था. I want others non-current affairs students. Anyone? Okay, let's quickly understand this. Okay, just focus on a flow chart quickly. Let's say we have to construct a ring road. You know, these days a lot of metropolitan cities have constructed a ring road. To construct a ring road, there are two approaches. One approach is we can go for land acquisition. Second approach is we can go for land pooling. This is a real example which I'm taking. Let's say you want to construct a ring road by land acquisition. Which law we have now for land acquisition in India? Earlier we used to have Land Acquisition Act of 1894. It has now been replaced by Land Acquisition Act of 2013, which also provides for relief and rehabilitation of the people who are displaced. So under this, just have a look at the flow chart. We want to construct a ring road. Under this law, the government says you have to take a consent of the owners. If it is a private project, if the private sector is constructing the ring road, compulsorily 80% of the owners should agree. If it is PPP, public-private partnership, 70%. If it's a public project means government is constructing, then there's no need for consent. Only if this certain percentage of owners agree, the project will go through. Mandatory social impact assessment. We are not talking about environmental impact assessment. We are talking about social impact assessment, whether socially if this particular project is viable or not. After undertaking social impact assessment, this act provides for payment of compensation if you lose the ownership of the land. Under this act, if you lose ownership of land in the rural areas, you get 4 times the market value. Market value here is a circle value which is fixed by the government. Some of you must have heard about the circle value which the government fixes, that 4 times the circle value. If it is in urban areas, you get how many? 2 times the market value. You are entitled to compensation. The government who is acquiring the land or the private sector who is acquiring has to compulsorily provide for rehabilitation and resettlement for the affected people. Inbuilt safeguard is there. What is the safeguard here? If the government does not use the land for next 5 years, if the private sector does not use the land, it has to give back the land to the owners. And look at this safeguard. You cannot acquire what kind of land? Multi-cropped. What is multi-cropped? Where in 1 year you can grow multiple crops. This idea is to ensure that it does not affect which sector? Agriculture sector at the cost of infrastructure. What do you think is the biggest problem in land acquisition? सबसे बड़ा problem क्या है? Okay, some people might not agree. It's like forced acquisition भी होता है बहुत सारे cases में. आगे चल के वो बढ़ सकता है. Good. Huh? Difference. Okay, then. From the government's perspective, what's the biggest problem? Government has to pay a high compensation, and that compensation has to be paid upfront even before the project is started. It increases the cost of the project for the government. And especially in a country like India, land acquisition is considered to be conflict prone. It is led by conflicts and social unrest. Heard about Narmada Bachao Andolan, right? So it is always conflict prone. So the problems with the land acquisition from the perspective of the government, for those of you not able to see, conflict prone, higher cost of acquisition, and government has to provide for rehabilitation and resettlement. From the perspective of public, people, there will be displacement and sometimes forced acquisition, which I have explained. Let's see that side. What is pooling then? In case of pooling, government, let's say I'm the government, you are the landowners, I will issue a notification saying that I'm not acquiring the land, I am rather pooling the land. I will issue a notification. In this case, you as the owners, look at the word. क्या लिखा है मैंने? खुशी खुशी, हंसते खेलते. You'll come to me and say, please take away my property. Do not pay me anything. You're not even asking for compensation. That side, what is happening? I am forcefully acquiring it and I'm also paying you compensation. Here there is no forceful acquisition. Here 100% of the people are willingly, voluntarily coming forward, giving their property to the government and not asking for any compensation. There's some reason for it, obviously. What is that reason? Let's see. Government will construct the ring road. Now, it might so happen that once I construct the ring road, the area surrounding that ring road, I will develop it into a residential and commercial plot. This is a ring road. Adjacent to the ring road, I will construct or I will provide for residential plot or a commercial plot. Now what happens here? You are one of the landowner. Think of it. As a landowner, you will get certain percentage of the land bank. Example, as an owner, if you have given up 1 acre of land, in return, you will get 1/4 of that land, which is either residential land or a commercial land. Are you getting equal amount of land? You're getting less. But why are you so happy? Because the value of that particular parcel of land must have increased. Imagine in Greater Noida, now they're constructing a new airport called as Jewar Airport. Now, until now, someone had a property near that particular Jewar Airport. No one actually bothered about it because its value was very less. Suddenly, if airport comes in the vicinity of that particular property, what will happen to the valuation of property? It will skyrocket. Suddenly, if this person had 1 acre of land whose value was just 1 lakh, after the ring road is constructed, the 1 lakh property will become, let's say, 50 lakh. Why is this person happily giving the land? Because he knows that even though he'll get less amount of land, the value of the land will be much, much higher than the initial value. So, even though landowners get less amount of land, however, its value would be far higher than the original value. This is what is the land pooling model. Example of this land pooling which has been followed in India, we'll come back to Punjab later. I give you a real example. This is from where? Ahmedabad. In the city of Ahmedabad, they have constructed a ring road by using this pooling model. Not just ring road project. In Delhi, you must have come across slums in Delhi which are called as juggies. Heard of it? Slums. We are modernizing those slums. It is also called as in situ rehabilitation of slums. Look at the word. Word is in situ. In situ means where the slums are located, there only we are developing the slums. That is also through pooling. You can see we have a scheme in Delhi. Its name is PM Uday scheme. PM Uday scheme is for slum redevelopment in Delhi. Similar to what we are doing in Delhi, it is same is done in what? Dharavi. Slum में कैसे होता है land pooling? First and foremost, the land might not belong to them. It's the illegal colonies, but mostly it is in the form of huts. It's in the form of kacha houses. We'll shift the people into vertical buildings. If people are shifted to vertical buildings, more amount of space is left, and that extra space will be used for commercial purpose like shopping malls, वगैरह. And what is the benefit for the private sector which is developing it? It will have access to commercial estate, real estate property, and you must have heard who is developing this Dharavi? Adani. Okay. Same here, you must have heard about Amravati city. It is the capital city of Andhra Pradesh. There's another township, Pune. It's called as Magarpatta township. And please read about Punjab's land pooling policy. Recently, Punjab government came up with a land pooling policy where it announced it is going to pool 40,000 acres of farm land. For every 1 acre of land which you give as a landowner, you will get back in return 1,000 square yard of residential plot and a commercial site of 1,200 square yards. Total yards that you will get back for 1 acre is 1,200 yards, which if you convert into acres, it will be around 0.24 acres. The example which I have taken here is almost similar to which example? Punjab. ठीक है? Any doubts here? Why do you think it is good model for development? Huh? Decrease what? It's voluntary. Good. Number one, it is voluntary. Second? Huh? Okay, that cost of the project will come down. What is the benefit for the owner? Owner के लिए क्या benefit है? Huh? Yeah, they consider it's more participatory development because they are equal stakeholders in that. Okay. Why will that? They do not understand the benefit. That becomes one of the challenges. Okay. I'm just sharing this slide with you. Please go through that. If you have any doubts, you can ask me in the next class. Land pooling model, the meaning, difference, case studies, benefits, challenges. Take your time, go through this, and next class, if you have any doubts, you can reach out to me. And meanwhile, anytime also, if you have doubts related to any topic that I've covered, you have my number, right? You can just reach out to me. Did you go through the Essential Commodities Act, which I shared with you? The last class? कोई doubt था उसमें? Essential Commodities Act 1955. Okay. So I'm just sharing this slide. Go through this. 890-435-2991. Okay. Any doubts, anything, you can always reach out to me. I'll share it with you. How are you getting the slides? Mail. You're not getting mail? Do you have your own WhatsApp group also? You can just join that. I think you can join that particular WhatsApp group. Fine. Thank you so much. Thanks for patience. I'll meet you next week. Actually, I wanted to take up PDS also, but could not take it up. We'll take it up in the next class. Not worry.